Habarigani, Mayanduga Nadada. This is your brother, your elder, coming at you one more time to try to open your third eye so you can see what's going on and come to a conclusion that decides for you what you must do to relieve yourself of this dreadful situation. My brothers and sisters, let's begin by me trying to impress on your mind and have your mind to imprint or impress back upon this information. And that is power. Power never, ever concede to anything less than an equal power or a greater power. Let me illustrate for you what I'm talking about. You know, I'm quite sure you read in school, I heard in school, that for every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. So to begin with, let me ask you, what is your reaction to the actions of your oppressive white brothers and sisters? I'll tell you what it has been, my brothers and sisters. It has been marching and singing, saying we shall overcome. It is about being said, I am an American too. Let us integrate. And if you don't, we're going to march and we're going to sing. We're going to go to Washington, D.C., and we're going to show you that we really want this. Now let me ask you this. Power concedes to nothing but an equal or greater power. So the power of marching, you mean to tell me you believe, has the force necessary to make the white man give you freedom, pay you reparations, give you some land to restart yourself on? Has it done so thus far? Ever since we've been relieved from chattel physical enslavement, and our minds has been the new field of the new enslavement, we have been talking about we deserve rights too, without any consideration whatsoever in the fact that power only concedes to an equal or greater power. For every action, there's an opposite and equal reaction, which is saying the same thing in a different way. My brothers and sisters, listen. Dig this illustration. It's a very simple illustration. You may not get it at first, but keep going over this illustration with your mind, because it's going to be forever in your mind, whether you forget it or remember it. And here is the illustration. If you took an egg and dropped it to the floor, the egg will smash and destroy itself. Am I correct? So what this means is that you have found an equal or greater power of resistance against the egg. Now, if you take a 1-pound block and drop it on a floor that's made of straw, what happens to it? The weight crushes through the floor and stops only when it meets an equal or greater power. Do you understand what I'm saying? My brothers and sisters, singing and dancing and shouting and speaking is not going to get you liberation. It's not going to get you reparations. And it's not going to get you any land. The only thing that's going to liberate you, provide reparations for you, is the power that we have in ourselves that's lying latent in ourselves until we decide to utilize it. We ought to be like the floor that the egg drops on. You understand what I'm saying? We've got to exert that much power and crash the egg when it comes in contact with us. You see, we've been like the straw floor, and a 20-ton weight has been dropped on. you do not have enough power of resistance to stop the weight, and it crushes you and destroys you and goes on until it reaches a power that's equal to it or greater than it, then it stops. Do you understand this? Listen, white folks has been fooling you, or you've been fooling yourself rather, that somehow they are going to liberate you. Remember what I said now, which is historical fact. If you think about it, you will agree with it. Power concedes to nothing but an equal or greater power. The white man not giving you anything. If you don't take it, you're not going to get it. And you can take it politically or you can take it militarily. We're trying politically now. But when politics fail, we must always take it to the next level, the military level. In other words, arm yourself or harm yourself. There's a book that was written in 2002 entitled Reparations and God's Judgment, written by yours truly, and you can get it today at Amazon.com over the internet. Reparations and God's Judgment by John D. Brinson, a.k.a. Abu Amin Ra. Now let me share something with you here, some evidence of why we should do whatever it takes to make them return what they stole from us and to fix what they broke in us. This is taken from page 1 of Reparations and God's Judgment, and I quote, "The charges. While motivated by profits, Europeans and others waged an unjust war against our ancestors. They kidnapped millions of them, stole their labor, caused pain and death to countless others, and provided a treatment so cruel that it traumatized millions, bringing mental sickness in them. This sickness has been passed down through the generations by the reinforcements of the dynamics of neo-slavery." You see, slavery has never ended. This continuing oppressive situation provides the environment that maintains the negative behavior in our community and the perpetual conflict between our African nation and the white nation. The evidence presented is drawn from personal accounts of eyewitnesses, letters, legal documents, historians, sociologists, psychologists, and others. I've tried to keep my personal opinion subdued, but it surfaces occasionally. However, the evidence speaks for itself. This evidence is presented to you in an effort to expand your awareness of the war we are in and the theft of our ancestors' labor, the psychological trauma they suffered, and the effects this whole dynamic has on our generations. We find ourselves today racing and reacting to racism, segregation, and economic discrimination with the same negative action and reactions as our ancestors under the chattel slave system. We are a physically broken and psychologically shattered people, and white Americans, Europeans, and their governments are the responsible villains, unquote. My brothers and sisters, we've been begging, fighting and begging for nearly 500 years for our liberation. But we have not come to the understanding yet that no oppressor has voluntarily liberated his oppressed people, or those whom we oppress. So my brothers and sisters, we must not depend on anybody else to liberate us. The success of our liberation depends 100% upon us. But as we struggle for reparations, liberations, and land, We must understand that the white man is not going to give it up free, that if we obtain it, either the United Nations is going to give it to us, or either we're going to pull up our sleeves and have to take it from them while we destroy them. Now, I hope Facebook, YouTube, and Google do not try to hide this information from you, because it's simple and it begs you the truth, the bare truth, without any dressings on it whatsoever. If we, Africans so-called, black people so-called, who are oppressed by white people and others all over the world, are ever to become liberated, we must stand up. And the men, you must grow some balls. Face your fears with your woman beside you, your queen beside you, and bring the best weapons with you. And come with a superior power, which is your resistance physically, and destroy them before they destroy you. My brothers and sisters, I hope you understand what I'm trying to bring to you. But I'm so emotionally charged today that I cannot articulate the words properly so that you can understand me. But I do know the words. It's just the words get in my way. Because I know you know we do not need words to inform us, to encourage us, to remember what Malcolm said, and to walk that walk and talk that talk and do whatever is necessary, whatever it is, regardless to how drastic it is, to bring to your oppressive master and lay it on him. Lay it on him like you really want victory. Lay it on him like it's either you or him. And as you do it, walk in the footsteps of the first law of nature, which is self-preservation. Preserve yourself by eliminating this destructive enemy of yours. Do you get the message? Power concedes to nothing but an equal or greater power. You got to develop or recognize that greater power that is manifested in all of you when you stand up and roll up your sleeve and say, let's get it on, Mr. Oppressor. Because before I be a slave, I'm going to be buried in my grave. So let's get it on. Power against power. And in the end, the African, the black man, the Archibulanian, or whatever else we define ourselves in, shall rise as victors in this long war we have been engaged in. Once again, my brothers and sisters, peace and Hotep